list I see on my laptop, and if I miss anyone, please feel free to correct me. So we'll start
Dr. Manny,
Yeah.
this might be an appropriate time to tell people that we are recording.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And that we will be posting the recording online on our ESIC website as well. And thank you very much for joining us today. So we'll start with Alan. Yeah, please introduce yourself and say hello.
Happy to do that, Manny. I'm Alan Love, and I'm in the School of Economic Sciences, and I participate with the ESIC group on both some research projects and other projects as well from time to time. But very interested in electric markets and the transition that we're seeing from other sources of energy to electricity.
Thank you, Alan. Mike, Alan. Mike, great to see you.
Nice to see you too. Good afternoon. Mike Allen with Tacoma Power.
Jennifer.
Hi, unfortunately my video is not working today, but this is Jennifer Boyer from Puget Sound Energy.
Welcome, Jennifer. Anil.
Thank you.
Hi, Manny. How are you?
Doing well. So please introduce yourself, Anil from, I will introduce for you, Anil from Power System Consultants. Thank you. And Janine.
Hi, I'm Janine Burke. I'm the manager of ESIC.
Jeff. Jeff, you are muted. Jeff Daggle.
Yes, Jeff Daggle from the Pacific Northwest National Laboratory, and I'm co-director with the Advanced Grid Institute, which is a joint institute between Pacific Northwest National Laboratory and Washington State University.
Thank you very much. Welcome, Jeff. Dan Simpson.
Hi there, I'm Dan Simpson with Okanagan PUD.
Welcome, Dan. Greg?
Yeah, this is Greg Zweigel from Schweitzer Engineering Laboratory.
Welcome, Greg. Linda?
Yes, hi, I'm Linda Howell. I work with Manny and Janine here in ESIC, and also work with Noel Schultz in AGI.
Jay Landstrom?
Good afternoon, everybody. Jay Landstrom with Portland General Electric.
Welcome, Jay. And Scott Keaton?
Yeah, this is Scott Keaton with Patelco.
Welcome, Scott. Mary Ellen Martinson?
Hi, this is Mary Ellen Martinson from Power Engineers.
Welcome, Mary Ellen. And Darlene?
Hi, everyone. I'm Darlene Miller. I'm a research administrator with ESIC.
And Brent?
Hi, everybody. I'm a electrical engineering student at WSU in my senior year.
Welcome, Brent. And Sanjeev?
Yeah, I'm Sanjeev Panala, research assistant professor at ESIC. Thank you.
And Shelley?
Hello, everybody. I'm Shelley Presley. I'm the Associate Dean in the College of Engineering and Architecture, and I'll be introducing things a little bit more in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Shelley.
Hey, Manny, I think maybe we missed Shane Freepons.
Yes, we will. I'm still finishing my list, and then thank you, Linda.
Okay.
And Noel?
Good afternoon, Noel Schultz, Schweitzer Chair, and also a co-director with Jeff Daigle of the Advanced Grid Institute.
Welcome, Noel. And Shane Freepons.
Good afternoon, everyone. Shane Freepons with Portland General Electric.
Welcome, Shane. And Chris Tobin.
Yes, sir. Chris Tobin with Patelco.
Welcome, Chris and Anamika.
Hey, hi everyone. This is Anamika Dubey. I'm an associate professor here with ECS and Power Group. I'm also a joint appointee with Pacific Northwest National Lab.
Welcome, Anamika and Anjan. You are muted, Anjan.
All right, now you can hear me, I hope. I'm Anjan Bose. I'm a professor of electrical engineering and computer science, part of the Power Group.
Thank you, Anjan. Did we miss anyone? Hey, welcome everyone. And Shelley, please go ahead. And thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you. And hello, everybody. Good afternoon. As I said earlier, I'm Shelley Presley. I'm the Associate Dean in the College of Engineering and Architecture. It's a real pleasure to be able to join you all today. I apologize for my voice. I'm recovering from a cold, but I guess that's one of the benefits of being on Teams or Zoom, right? We can't pass our germs around. So anyway, hopefully my voice will last. So I just want to welcome you and tell you a little bit. I've been in the dean's office since 2018, but I've been here at WSU for much longer. I won't tell you how much longer, but I must say that I have seen the Power program grow and develop during my time here at WSU, and it's really been an important part of the electrical engineering program. Not to mention the role that the Power program plays within the land-grant university mission. So I can honestly say that the educational opportunities that you all provide for our undergraduates are critical. And I've seen them firsthand. So thank you for your support of this mission. Like I said, I'm really excited to learn a little bit more about you all and meet some of you virtually, I guess. But I also want to share a little bit of a brief update about the Schweitzer Engineering Hall that we are just getting going on. This is a new building that will be here on our campus. We just signed the design build firm that will be working on this. The building will be designed on the student success programming, which as the associate dean in the student success, I'm really excited because my entire team will be working in this building. So everything from tutoring to career services and internships. So we want you all to come and visit us and come to campus and meet our students and have them do internships with your companies. But you'll have a much nicer space now to interact with students and meet with them because this new building is going to be pretty exciting. So anyway, we are in the process of working with the design build firm to get that going. And we're just really excited about it. I also want to mention that we've been hiring a lot of faculty. This past spring, we are in the process of hiring many faculty, and two of those are in the power area, which of course you all know is critical to our economy. So continuing to keep the power group growing is fantastic. And then lastly, Manny asked me to remind you all that the 50th anniversary of the Power Professorship Program is this year, 2023. So I don't know the details of what the events are, but we look forward to celebrating these, and Manny hopefully will be able to fill us in on some of the planned events. But continuing to grow the program and to have successes with industry and the National Lab Partnership will be key to a lot of those celebrations. So I'm going to stick around for a little bit and hear about some of your updates. But if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer those, or you can send them to me in chat separately, whatever works for you. But thank you again, and looking forward to learning more about you.
Yeah, thank you for joining us today in spite of recovering from the cold. Actually, we really appreciate it. And any questions for our associate dean, please post them in the chat window, and we will get to it later in the meeting. And next we will move on with the update from ESIC. And like Shelley mentioned, we have an exciting announcement on the 50th anniversary celebrations. Linda had sent out an email just a few minutes before the meeting started on some of the details. And as some of you know, the Power Professorship Program was founded back in 1973. And the three key people who were really taking the lead on putting together this program, we want to acknowledge the chair of WE at the time, Professor Atty Betts, and then William Satter from Washington Water Power Company, which is now Avista, and also Axel Strom from Grant County PUD. And the amazing part is that the program has continued this collaboration with industry, with support from industry for the past 50 years. And we are planning, hopefully, several events to celebrate the 50th year occasion. And the first main event is going to be on the 15th of September. And this will be in Pullman. And we tried to, based on some feedback that we got from our members, we tried to coordinate this with the home football game, which is scheduled on the 16th with Northern Colorado. And we hope to see all of you here in Pullman on the 15th. And we are holding hotel rooms. It was a bit difficult to find the hotel rooms because of the home football game, but we are holding rooms for all 3 dates, 14th, 15th, and 16th. And please contact Linda, and she can help you with where these reservations are being held and so on. And she will be sending out an email with more details soon. So we look forward to seeing all of you with your families here in Pullman for this grand celebration. And in terms of faculty, we have a very strong program. And as you know, we also have our power engineering degree program being offered in Bremerton campus as well as the Everett campus. And we have Professor Javier, who coordinates the power program at Bremerton, and Professor Shu Sheng Shi, who is a clinical faculty, and he manages the power program at the Everett campus. And we also have our WSU program in Vancouver. And I have listed 2 of the power faculty in the Vancouver campus who are now advising PhD students as part of the Pullman WE program. And we also have faculty who are PNNL scientists on joint appointment here at WSU as part of the Advanced Grid Institute. And that is Dr. Henry Huang and Dr. Kevin Schneider, who many of you may know. And Anurag is, Professor Anurag is still a research professor with us, working on some projects. And again, the exciting news is we are hiring more faculty in the power area. And we have just finished interviewing several candidates. And we thank many of you for participating in the seminars and for your feedback. And we hope to have some good news on the new faculty later in fall. And also, other exciting news is EECS recently got approval to start a degree program in cybersecurity. And as part of that new program, we have many faculty who have joined or who will be joining EACS in cybersecurity. And we hope that some of them will be working with us on the power grid aspects of cybersecurity as well. And our staff, you met many of them, and let us congratulate Linda, who just won the 2023 College Staff Excellence Award. And, we thank all our staff for the excellent work they do in keeping and growing the center, especially Linda for coordinating the organization of this meeting. And in terms of students, our number is still down, and this is reflected all across the EE program in several universities. And we are making a strong effort in reaching out to high schools and community colleges, trying to grow the WE program. And we are planning workforce kind of a workshop to talk about the workforce development in the region. And this will be a joint effort between ESIC and AGI, the Advanced Grid Institute, that we can talk about again, hopefully in fall. And our research focus areas are what we have listed here. And really, I know we are a little bit behind our schedule, so I'll try to make this quick. And again, one more note is WPRC, which is run from WSU, which was founded at WSU, also is celebrating the 50th year this year. So they have some celebratory events being planned for this fall WPRC conference as well. And we thank you for the sustained support to our power program in the form of these two membership programs, the Power Education Partnership, and that is the focus for our meeting today, which primarily supports the undergraduate education. Then we have the Research Excellence Partnership, which is aimed at research collaborations. And one of the key benefits and the key responsibilities of the PEP membership program, it supports the practicum that we will talk about later in this meeting. This year we had I would say, the most successful practicum program in our history. We had about 35 students that were hosted at 12 industry partner sites. And again, that was wonderful to see the strong interest from students as well as the members in hosting the students during the spring break weeks. We'll hear from several students, in fact, right after I finish my presentation, and then we will be hearing from the companies as well on the experience and feedback in terms of how we can do better. Our plan is to grow this program next year. We are thinking of opening up the program to our students, WSU students in the Vancouver program, as well as possibly the Tri-Cities campus. So that's something that we would like to discuss with you. If we can host more students in your companies, then we would like to grow this program over the next few years. And we thank the members and the current members, and we are very excited to welcome back Tacoma Power. Tacoma Power has rejoined the PEP program, and we are excited to have you all as part of the 50th year celebrations this year, especially. And
thank you very much, Manny.
Yeah, yeah, great to have you back, Mike. And on the research partnership, we have these companies. And again, we thank you for your support. And I just want to remind you that we have an online professional science master's program in electrical power engineering. This is a program that's run by ESIC. And if you would like to know more details, I'd be very happy to talk to you offline. So with that, I will stop my presentation And if you have any questions, brief questions about the event or any other topic related to ESIC, we can talk about it. And I also notice we have some others who have joined us since we started. Mark, could you introduce yourself?
Sure, I'm Mark Rice. I'm Electricity Security Group Lead here at Pacific Northwest National Labs, and we hosted two students. One was through the official practicum experience over spring break. So,
welcome, Mark.
Thank you.
And also we have Shamish who joined later.
Hi, Dr. Manny and everyone.
Welcome, Shamish. Shamish is also from Patelco.
Yep.
Did we miss anyone? Okay, next we will hear from some students. And Linda, do you want to coordinate that part? Do you want to invite the students?
Sure. Well, Brent, Otto, why don't you go first, because you were originally going to have a conflict and we had planned for you to go first. So we'll just go ahead and start with you if that's all right.
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much for having me here. I think my goal here is to share maybe 5 minutes about my experience with the practicum this spring break, as well as hopefully kind of talking about the benefits of the POWER program, the school here in Bremerton, and my experiences here. So I attended the practicum with Tacoma Power over spring break this year. And I also attended the previous year with PSE, and I think I recognize a couple names here from the PSE practicum. It's good to see those people again. But yeah, both years I had a really incredible experience. I think it's really interesting and inspiring to see the connections that are there between the academic side of engineering and the industries, and to go meet engineers who, you know, take time from their jobs to really come to you and provide the just the knowledge and experience to kind of share what it's like to take these skills and apply them in the field. Yeah, it's a really great experience. I'm really glad to have been a part of it for both years. And also, I'm really grateful to the Bremerton program here. I'm a little bit older of a student, and I came back to school later in life, and I think the Bremerton program is what made that possible, because I was, you know, limited to the region that I live in, and I couldn't have been an electrical engineer if it wasn't for this facility out here in Bremerton. So thanks to Dr. Mani and also Dr. Javier, who's going to be on later. They've both been really inspiring and helpful in my journey with this education. So thank you so much. Any questions or anything that I could illustrate or elaborate on?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Brett. And I believe you also are a scholarship recipient, isn't it?
I'm not, no.
Oh, you are not, maybe. Okay, yeah. Yeah, please, Linda, I shouldn't have interfered. You go ahead.
No, it's okay. It's all right. You're okay.
Yeah, and I should say that Brent was an outstanding student in my class. So I'm very glad to see you hopefully go on to power industry, Brent, and have an awesome career.
Thank you. Yeah. Oh, also, thank you, Mike Allen from Tacoma Power. He did an amazing job of organizing our practicum this spring.
Would like to take credit for Brent's great public speaking skills, but I'm afraid I can't.
It's the nervousness and anxiety, I'm sure.
Well, you did a great job. Charlotte Wirtz, could you please speak about your practicum last year and then also the scholarship? These folks are the folks who contribute the scholarship dollars.
Yeah. So I'm Charlotte. I was not able to do the practicum this year, but I did do it in 2022 with Puget Sound Energy. I learned a lot more than I thought I could in 1 week. It was a lot of fun too. We got to do site visits of substations, and we got to see the Snoqualmie hydroelectric plant. And this year I also received a scholarship from Avista, and that has been really helpful. I'm going to be continuing at WSU to graduate school this next year, so I'm not going to be making a big engineering salary anytime soon, so having the scholarship was very helpful in that regard. Yeah, I really appreciate it. I had great experience at the practicum with PSE. Yeah, that's about all I have to say.
Thank you,
Thank you very
Charlotte.
much. Yeah, thank you very much, Charlotte. And I forgot to mention this year we gave out about 30 scholarships for the Power undergraduate students from the PEP program, as well as from some of the funding from the donors. And this included students all the way from freshman year to the senior year, including Charlotte as one of the recipients. And we really thank the members for the support.
Leah Jacobs, are you there? Oh, I think you're muted.
Oh, okay. How's that?
Yeah, perfect.
That's good. Okay, great. Sorry, yeah, I'm in the car waiting for my son to finish therapy. So, I had the practicum this year with PSE in Potelco over in Snoqualmie. Oh, so sorry. Sorry about that. You know, babies. Sorry about that.
Who's your engineer?
This is actually my niece. My kids are all older, but hold on just a second. Let me get her settled. So I did mine this spring with PSE in Potelco, and I had just an amazing experience. We went to the Snoqualmie hydroelectric plant. We did some substation tours with Tim from Potelco, who was just an incredible teacher, and I've learned so much. And like Brent, I'm over at the Bremerton campus, and I want to say with him too that I really appreciate you guys offering something in Bremerton, because obviously I live here. I have 4 children who go to school here, so going anywhere else wasn't really an option for me, and this is allowing me to have a career. So I just really appreciate it. So I guess that's it.
Thank you for sharing, Leah. And you're the proud owner of an EV, and you drove it back and forth.
Yeah, that was that made that a lot easier. For sure.
Okay, she was sharing about that. Caleb Peterson, can you share about practicum and also your scholarship?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, just thank you for having me. Thank you for inviting me to speak today, and I hope I provide some helpful insights on the my side of things as far as going on the practicum and receiving a scholarship. So I attended the practicum this spring for the first time up in Spokane with Avista. It was a great experience. Like Charlotte said, kind of an information overload, but super happy for it. We got to meet with about 20 engineers over 4 days, and they taught us, tried to teach us as much as they could about all the different departments and fields that they have there, all the different engineers they have, from generation to distribution to transmission. We met with just so many people. We got to go on tours of substations, tours of a dam, and see a lot of different parts, a lot of different components of their vertical integration that they have as a utility. And so that was just a great opportunity for me. And at the end of it all, there were about 4 of us, and we got to make a presentation, and a bunch of the engineers showed up and showed that they cared, that they valued our time, and they valued what we had to say about what we'd learned. And that was just a great experience for me. And, tying into that, I was also the recipient of a power engineering scholarship this semester, and that was just super helpful insofar as being able to afford, tuition costs or textbooks and other school materials and housing. And especially since going on the practicum added a credit to my list of credits for the semester, and it actually bumped me over the full-time credit limit, and so I had to, you know, shell out a little bit more money for that experience, but that was all the more worth it, and I'm super thankful that the scholarship fund that I received actually covered that. That's what I've got to say.
Thank you so much. Alex, I think I saw that you signed in.
Hi. I participated in the power practicum over spring break, and I was at Portland General Electric, and it was really interesting being able to like see all the different aspects of the power utility, and also like I'm currently taking power classes right now, so it was really interesting like the dots kind of finally connecting of like, okay, so this is what three-phase systems actually mean, and like the different like aspects about like utilities of like how like there are certain engineers that are like only very specifically focused on transmission or distribution.
Would you do it again in the future?
Yeah, it was a great experience. It would be something that we try again.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Mhm.
Eduardo, I saw that you signed on.
Hi there. Good afternoon. But yeah, so I did the engineering practicum at the Grant PUD, and overall it was a great experience. Actually, with the Grant PUD and everything that makes it special is I have a summer internship with them, so being able to take what I learned from the practicum and spring break and being able to transfer my knowledge into it is overall like a great experience. And going off of that, we learned, my group learned a lot with the Grant PUD. We got to see a bunch of the places like the dams inside and kind of learn more about like power distribution, power protection and security, and what goes into like planning like 10-year projects, and then the whole process, and overall a great program.
Thank you so much. And I see that Kelsey Detlef, you've joined us. And this is the last student, I believe it's the last student. I hope I haven't missed anyone. Kelsey, could you go ahead?
Yeah, of course. I hope everybody can hear me. Sorry, I'm on my phone. So I guess I'm here to talk about PNNL and the experience that I had at PNNL, which was, I think, really informative, especially as someone who hasn't taken their power engineering classes yet, to kind of get a lay of how important these are and the use, like the application of what you're going to learn before you even start, I think is going to be a huge advantage. So I guess the way the program was broken down was into generation, distribution, and transmission. And so we started with transmission. My favorite part was probably the distribution aspects, learning, you know, how the system changes when you incorporate renewables. You're taking into consideration things that you didn't have to take into consideration in the past, such as reverse flow, and then how that's managed, how microgrids are managed, the debate of like how much do we want to incorporate these microgrids into the grid, you know, how risky is it to have a system that's completely independent, and then of course like different ways to make the grid more secure, to have these contingency plans so that if one thing stops working, the whole thing still continues to work. And so it was, I think we learned a lot. I learned a lot in a week. I think it was a really good experience. And definitely like opened up some doors or like some avenues that for things that I'd love to do with my career and education that I hadn't thought of before, that I hadn't, you know, had the exposure to. So, I mean, I'll answer anything more specifically, but that's just my general take.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And students, you're welcome to stay and listen if you want. You can stay as long as you wish, but we understand if you need to leave and go do something else. And Dr. Manny, I think it's back to you. It's back to you for the industry part.
Yeah, thank you very much, Linda. And in fact, also what was amazing this year is we had opened up the program to freshmen, sophomore, junior, and senior, all levels of students. And our invitation for the program specifically said the program is for EE students. But what surprised us, we got applications from 2 computer science students and 1 computer engineering student as well, even though the announcement said it was for EE students. Then we contacted the host companies, and in fact, we could send some of the non-EE students on practicum as well this year. So that opened up an interesting question whether we should be including some potential students from CS and computer engineering in next year practicum program. So we would like to hear from you on the future plans, on your past experience, and where you think we should be headed as we especially plan for the next 50 years in the fall September event. So with that, let's go around and hear from you on your experience from practicum. And let's start with you, Mike, and Tacoma, since your name was mentioned first.
Yeah, I'd be glad to share. It's we've done the practicum for several years now. We were certainly happy to get back to it post-COVID. We had been out of the office, and so we deferred for a couple of years. Having Brent and Vincent back with us was inspiring for us as well. To your question about computer science or computer engineering students, future participation, we would certainly be open to that. But knowing in advance the particular emphasis of that student would help us in crafting a practicum that was more targeted to where they would want to see their career go. So a little extra time would be helpful in that case.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. And that was my thinking too, that our role is to provide a pipeline of students for our members and for the regional industry as a whole. So if that includes the computer science students as well as computer engineering students, because there is definitely a need in industry for students with that background as well. This is why we wanted to explore with you that option. We were really taken by surprise when we got the applications, and that a good surprise. And so, yes, and next I see you, Anil. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Mani. I think we really enjoyed the program very well. We went a little bit outside the box this time. So we also had 3 students join us from University of Washington, even though it's a finals week. And I think together they had a lot of fun. That's one good thing I really liked, how they were able to gel together. The other thing we did is we encouraged the students to prepare a poster for IEEE Power Engineering Society General Meeting. They did make a 1-page on their experiences at the PSC. I'll be happy to share that as well. In terms of, because we come from consulting and we look into EMS, DMS, and studies and planning, most of the content was geared towards that, but we ensured there is something on career planning and business side of things, so that it becomes a holistic program. And they also had an opportunity to talk to our MD and CEO also, I think, which probably they liked it. In terms of feedback, we did collect specific to our program, the way we have run the program for 5 days. But for the benefit of this practicum, I have a couple of suggestions. One is perhaps if we are able to collaborate with University of Washington and other electrical engineering programs in the state, I think it will have a larger pool of students. I think so that may be something you may want to consider, even though this is very specific to your university and your program. But I think it's a very well done program. From the industry point of view, I think we will all benefit if you have a larger pool of students that go through this program. The other suggestion I have is if we are able to coordinate a little bit more with the surrounding entities, I think some of these tours and other things maybe can be done at a pre-planned schedule, so that both for the companies and the students, I think probably it will work out better. That's what my thinking is. In terms of computer science students, I think it's a good idea. I think it's good for them also to know another domain, at least at a surface level, and the challenges that we face and some of the algorithms we do and things like that one. I think this will be a good addition.
Yeah, thank you for the feedback, Anil. And we will discuss the scaling as we move forward. And our thinking is maybe to include our sister campuses in Vancouver and Tri-Cities as the next step, because we do have to make sure the program is well coordinated and well planned together with all of you. And so we want to take it one baby step at a time. As it's very exciting to see the growth in the program. In fact, now we have over 100 students in our power program just between Pullman and Everett and Bremerton. And then if we also include the students from Vancouver and Tri-Cities, the number becomes even bigger. So we have to really think this through in terms of how we plan this. But like I say, it's very exciting because this is exactly our job to provide the workforce for the industry. And we are very happy to be working with all of you. And next, Jennifer.
Yeah, again, I apologize. My camera stopped working this afternoon. I haven't had a chance to troubleshoot it, so I'll stay off screen. But just like last year, we had a fantastic experience both from our side of things, and hopefully the students had a great experience. I think we had 9 students this year, if I remember correctly, and I would love to hear from Scott and Shamish and Chris as well, because I was only able to attend a couple of days, but it's just a pleasure to watch our engineers share what they love to do and their passion behind what they do, and then to see the interaction with the students and to see kind of things kind of connect and blossom, and for them to see the energy of our employees and how they collaborate together and how they're using the different skills that these folks are learning in the classes. It's really delightful to be a part of. And so I think it's just been a really fun way for our engineers to spend some time on that week in the spring. It energizes them to get to feel like they're sort of paying forward, their experience. I think we're totally open to having folks from other engineering fields. I agree, it's helpful to know what people's background is so we can kind of prepare for that. We have lots of folks working in the power industry that are not double E's. So I always kind of tell people, I think university teaches you how to learn stuff, and then you learn your job when you get your job. So, I think the different engineering disciplines, they all bring something different to the power industry. And so I think it's great to be inclusive in that area.
Thank you very much, Jennifer. In fact, I attended one of Tim's lectures last year, and he is truly inspirational, like what one of the students noted.
Good.
Anyone, any other, Shamish, do you also want to talk about Patelco? Because I know you coordinate with Puget Sound, and it's such a successful program.
Yeah, and Chris Tobin, our engineering manager, may want to jump in also. Yeah, I'll agree with what Jenny said. It is actually for all the people that participate on the Patelco and PSE, and it's not some assignment. It's really fun, and everyone just has a great time doing it, and that obviously, hopefully, leads to a better end result. A couple things. We had a computer science major in our group.
Okay.
And in terms of their intake, engagement, level of questions, and the type of questions they were asking, right on par with everyone else. So, we didn't observe anything different by having a non-EE in the class, and that was really cool. The other thing was during Tim's College of Knowledge, as I call it, and Dr. Manny, you know this, and many others do also. He brings a lot of the parts and pieces in from the distribution system and passes them around or shows pictures or some of the larger stuff. And a couple of students mentioned that this was the first time they had the opportunity to see or touch the actual hardware or transformers and that type of thing. And that I kind of remember back to a million years ago when I went to Washington State. There was always lots of stuff lying around to touch and look at and inspect. So I just wasn't sure what the curriculum looked like right now. But again, we did get some comments indicating that it would be nice if they had the chance to get their hands on stuff when they're at Wazoo. And again, not sure exactly what you guys are doing right now, but it was something that came up, not in a negative way, maybe just as another positive reinforcement of being able to get out to these companies where we spend more time holding things rather than talking about concepts. But overall, super positive.
Yeah, thank you for the feedback, Shamish. And I do want to react to your comment about hands-on experience. And this has been a key emphasis in our program for forever. And we do have, we do have several lab courses that we offer, including a machines lab, a protection lab, and also the the renewable energy lab. And I must admit that in the last few years, because of faculty departures, we have not been able to offer some of those lab courses. And for instance, the renewable energy lab is outdated. We appreciate the funding from Puget Sound when this was started 10 years ago, but all of that equipment has kind of become obsolete, and we really are in need of, bringing some new equipment to restart that lab. So we still have the machines lab, and we are trying to set up a protection lab and renewable energy lab in the other two campuses. So I'm not sure the students who made that comment, which campus they are from. That would be good to know just for information's sake. And also, now that we have opened up the practicum to freshmen, sophomore, and some of the lower or younger students, they may not have been exposed to the hands-on experience as well. I'm not being defensive. I take it in a very positive spirit, and I appreciate the comment, Shamish. But I just wanted to say that we really consider it one of our strengths that we have so many lab courses here.
Yeah, and I was a little even hesitant to bring it up. So and I'm glad it wasn't taken as a criticism, because it wasn't.
No.
It was it was like, wow, if you just brought a bunch of hardware in, I think people would really dig it. And I totally understand what you're saying about the labs. I did not get details on the students that mentioned it. I just it was a couple people, and again, they were very positive in the way they said, hey, this would be really cool. So just something to maybe note as an additional benefit if you guys are out there making the case to try and restart some of the labs, is there's at least 2 students who would really enjoy it. So that's all I had.
Absolutely. Taken,
thank you.
In a very positive sense, and we are working hard to really make those offerings soon. Thank you very much. And Chris, do you want to add any comments?
Yeah, sure thing. Thank you. Chris Tovo with Patelco. Yeah, again, this year, great partnership with PSE in the ramp up to being prepared to host the students. And there's a lot of new players this year from both of our teams that got to participate, and all feedback from all of our staff that worked on this, that had some presentation roles and got to listen in on some departments that they don't normally get to work with within PSE and hear their presentations. Very positive. And I already have 3 volunteers for next year from our team that want to get engaged and take a more active role in the planning process. So yeah, it's good for us. Gives our folks a chance to talk about what they do and kind of get excited about it. Explaining it or showing it to young students. So yeah, we're excited to participate again.
Yeah, thank you so much, Chris. And you are I would say, the largest host in terms of students, and we can talk about again the numbers for next year as we hope to grow this program. And one other change we made this year, which contributed to the higher number of students, we are now encouraging the students to take the practicum course multiple times, and each time they get 1 credit, and the rule is that they have to go to a different host if they retake the course, so that they get a different experience. And this way, they can even take it 3 times and it counts towards a senior elective. So that is another incentive for encouraging them to go on this practicum program. And next, maybe we'll go with PNNL. Jeff or
I think it's Mark, or yeah, well, I'm not sure
Mark,
actually.
either of you? Yeah, Mark, maybe.
Sure, I can talk about it. Yeah, so we, well, I don't know if others colored out the lines the same way we did, but we chose to, we had one person come through the practicum explicitly, and then being right next to the Tri-Cities campus, we found another student that was interested in doing it from here locally. And as talked about, we walked them through several basic power system tools that we use here at PNNL in our research and exposed them to things. And the feedback from our staff, as many have said, it's super energetic to see the excitement from the students. And as others, I'll just echo, we have a lot of staff that aren't classic power engineers that help us in our projects and problems. So yeah, if you're open for a larger aperture, that'd be great. But if you can only do one thing, including the campus of Tri-Cities would be our vote for the next steps to increase the availability of people to participate in the practicum. I'll leave it at that. I'm open for questions anytime. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mark. As the first time host, we are very excited to have PNNL join our team of practicum hosts this year. And yes, we are looking into inviting more Tri-City students next year. So we'll be looking forward to working with you. And Dan Okanagan.
Yeah, actually, this is the second year that we've done the practicum program, and both times it's been very positive. You know, we cover mostly transmission and distribution, and I think the kids get quite a lot out of it. We do field trips. This year we went to a couple of different substations, and I think the whole thing was extremely positive for them. And as far as opening it up to computer science majors, I think that would be a good thing, because so much of our stuff now is reliant on computer technology.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dan. You know, that's what we would like to explore as well. And really the key would be, how do we prioritize? Do we say that available slots will be offered to computer science students, or do we want to include some number of computer science students? So these are specific questions that we can talk about as we think about next year. And Jay?
Yeah, hey. Yeah, so this is again, Jay Lancher from Portland General Electric. This was our first year hosting students. It was very positive, I think very positive from both our staff and from the students and the feedback we got. I think you know, we're gonna have to, I would like to figure out how we can all share our agendas across the board. We had to put ours together pretty quick. You know, it is a wide range of things, like I'm sure everybody does, but we filled students' days up pretty heavy. and they revolted a little bit, you know, I'm just politely, but you know, we're used to working all day, 8, 9 hours, and you know, and keeping them engaged constantly. I think it was really beneficial for them. But I mean, and we had lots to go over. We went through all the disciplines, our design areas. We had them go to the our integrated operations center and go through all the functions out there, from T&D operations to cybersecurity we have out there, and also wildfire mitigation is out there with our meteorologists and some other people. To go on some field trips, substations, like I said, and 100+ year old hydro facility, which is always fun. They really enjoyed all of it. From our perspective, I think we had 4 students, and we would like more, because we put this together and we get all the engineers' time. All the engineers are really excited, just like everybody's been saying. We spent a week with them, and we would like to get the most bang for that week. So we would like more. We would like more students. And I will leave you with a quote. I will put it in the chat of one of the feedback we got. But I think this is one of the things that we're trying to achieve, with this program. So.
Thank you, Jay. You said exactly what we wanted to hear, that you are looking for more students. That's awesome news for the program. And also, you are a first-time host, as far as I can recall. And so we really would like to make this a long-term partnership with Portland General. And that is why we also want to reach out to our Vancouver campus, because they may be local students. And that may be a good pool for you over the years.
Yeah, and the feedback from our HR group that led this is also, it'd be great to have students that were interested in internships, so you could just fold right into some type of internship during the summer.
Yeah, that typically is what happens, that some of the students go back as interns over the summer, and this becomes this was the original intention in designing of this, that this is a pipeline for getting interns over the summer.
Yeah, and the one area I neglected to address is computer science and everything, but absolutely. I mean, we're hiring data scientists and computer scientists, and it's why just computer science? It's all disciplines, right? I have civil structural engineers who are managers of my substation engineering teams, and mechanical engineers who are in charge of our T&D standards, and stuff like that. It doesn't really matter at some point, if they're really good at what they do, they'll rise to what can do anything in the company. So.
Yeah, thank you. And the reason we are a little partial to computer science and computer engineers is because we are part of the same school. And so.
Yeah, I know there's internal politics there.
Oh, it's not that we don't want to open up the program to other areas of engineering, but like I said, we want to do it in steps, so that we grow the program in a coordinated way, so we can manage the program well as we look to recruit more students to the program. And also, thank you, Mark, for the note about ability to host 4 students next year. That sounds awesome, and we would really look forward to working with PNNL on that front. And maybe the other companies can also react to that question on the future plans in terms of the number. How many do you think you can possibly host next year? And whether we should be looking at much larger, or we should be doing it gradually, because we don't want this to become a burden for you as well. And so the key is really what is sustainable.
I think for us, this is Jenny again. I think that sort of 9 to 12 range is good. You start to have logistical issues with carting folks around on field trips and taking them in. Power plants, stations can be a little more challenging when you have a large group. But if we were at that place, that could be a good problem to have, to try and figure out how to do things a little bit differently. So, but I think that's a good zone for us in the moment.
Yeah, thank you very much for the feedback, Jenny. So we'll probably plan for 10 to 12 for Puget Sound and Patelco. And Christina has just joined us from Avista. Christina, I don't mean to put you right on the spot, but we have been talking about Avista. A student mentioned about the practicum in Avista. So do you want to introduce yourself and maybe talk about practicum experience for Avista?
Sure. Yeah, sorry I'm late to join, jumping from one meeting to the next. Have others shared their feedback already?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I apologize that I didn't get to hear all that. I would have liked to have, so I might have a lot of repeat, but and you want specific to this experience this year, right?
In general, maybe
Okay.
I should tell you the questions that I asked are one, we are thinking about scaling of the program to include students from our Vancouver campus and Tri-Cities campus. And also we have seen interest from computer science students and computer engineering students who also want to participate in the practicum program, and whether or how you would react to hosting students from those disciplines. And then Anil from PSC mentioned that we can also open it up to other colleges. And so that's something maybe in a more distant future as we look towards sustaining and growing the program over the years. So please go ahead,
Other
Christina.
WSU campuses, you mean, when you say other colleges?
No, Anil has even grander plans to include UW and but we can talk about that later. So maybe for now, the focus is on WSU campuses such as Vancouver, Tri-Cities, and also non-WE students.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, I guess our experience was really positive. We hosted 4 students this year, and they were all very engaged and enthusiastic, respectful, appreciative, all really great qualities. And it led to a really great experience, I think, for hopefully them and then all the engineers that were involved in making it possible for Avista to host. I had coordinated around, there are about 20 or so individuals that helped with Avista's coordination for the whole week. Each day included presentations from anywhere from 3 to 5 different engineering teams. We even included our network engineering team with network systems, talk about the network portion, which kind of would lead into into computer engineering maybe, but I'll touch on that a little bit more. All the obvious protection, substation, transmission, distribution, generation. We even went to our innovation lab downtown. And I'm always amazed it goes off without a hitch. Everybody's very involved in making sure that we understand the handoffs. I help coordinate, where they're going to be transitioning and at what time and where, and who's going to be providing lunch. And then it all just happens. So I did get some feedback this year that to try and do maybe 2 tours in the afternoon. I had never thought about that with my schedule. The tours usually just kind of line up with how it fit with the engineering teams, where they had time. If it was in the morning, I would put them in the morning. And if they were going out for a tour, I didn't really think about it. But the feedback I got was after lunch, the tour in the afternoon would be more welcome. And so I was going to be more cognizant of that as I lay out the next schedule for 2024. Yeah, was there anything else that you'd like me to cover regarding this year's experience, Manny?
Oh no, thank you, Christina. We really appreciate the 20 Avista engineers who took the time to make this such a great success. And we got very positive feedback from the students. We are really
Good.
looking forward to working with you again for next year. And also,
Perfect.
I mentioned early on that we have our 50th year anniversary celebration in September, on the 15th of September here in Pullman. And we would very much like to see you and your family for the celebration.
Yeah, that would be great. Do I have time to answer your question about the computer engineering or other?
Please go ahead. Yeah.
So I guess I would probably need more information on like, would they be interested in going through the typical electrical shadowing and presentation viewing, or are they looking more for an IT focus? Because I only have really one IT touch point with network systems, just because it's an important part with all the network involved for our substation and our generation, and so it's a key piece. But we don't go in depth more than one presentation.
Yeah, maybe I would let some of my ESIC faculty colleagues comment on that question, Christina. From my perspective, I think the students who applied for the practicum, the computer science students and computer engineering student, they were interested in learning about the power industry and what a career in power industry would be like. And they may be interested in just helping clean energy, on helping the society, which is the role that we play as power industry. So I think it's a very positive sign that we made the notice that Linda put out said the program is restricted to EE students. And then we were very surprised to see these applicants who are from computer science and computer engineering. And that's why we made the phone calls to some of the host companies to see if there is room to accommodate them. And I think it went very well based on the feedback we got from those students. So going back to your question, I think we don't need to make it tailored for computer science or computer engineering. We go through our regular practicum, and just to show them what is it like or what we do in the power industry.
Yeah.
At least that would be my take on it. But I would very much like to hear maybe feedback from other members as well as from our faculty colleagues. Anamika, Bob, and Bob has joined later. So Bob, please introduce yourself as well. And Bob was the original pioneer behind the practicum program. And so, and I should also say, he is the only faculty now at WSU who has been here all 50 years from 1973. So
yeah, Monty,
it's
Monty
amazing to have you, Bob.
Yeah, I was not planning to be here today because I'm actually sitting on Kauai in Hawaii. But
wow.
it's raining. It's raining today, and the weather's lousy outside. So I thought I'd join for a while. So greetings to everybody, and it's really nice to see this program going so well. We started it a few years ago. I think it was about 10 years ago, and it's just grown. And I'm just very, very pleased with how we can serve the different utilities and how we can serve the students as well. I'll just leave it at that. I'll give you my greetings and thank you. Thank you so much for participating.
Thank you, Bob. And hopefully the weather lets up and you get to enjoy your time in
Right.
And Anamika, do you have any comments about computer science students? Have you had any experience?
I did money with WSU computer science students working on research with me. So I didn't had many experience. I had few students, but I haven't closely interacted on
okay.
research topics yet. So not sure, but I do believe that there is a need for computer scientists in our industry. So I don't know what's the right way to do it. Is it to basically train our, I don't know. I think the difference between CS and E is getting blurred as we are seeing more and more computer technologies in E side. So not sure. Don't have a good answer. Sorry.
Thank you. And the other key person that I should introduce is Javier. Professor Javier coordinates the practicum program. He has taken over from Bob, and he is one of the key faculty that I should thank for making this year's program a success. So I should have introduced you sooner, Javier. My apologies.
That's all right. I just joined the meeting some minutes ago. But to the question of the computer science, I think it's great. I had a very interesting experience in visiting all the facilities and the utilities during the practicum, and I could see students asking such a diverse range of questions that made me think that, I mean, this can be expandable as much as we want. Probably for the computer science students, we could start with, I don't know, like a morning module with the IT people, and the rest could be just power industry. I don't know, just an idea there.
Yeah, thank you, Javier. And Noel, please go ahead.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure our computer science students would necessarily think about a career in power when they're undergraduate, freshman or sophomore. And I know in my discussions with SEL and others, finding computer science folks and now that we have the new cybersecurity degree, that, I think there's definitely an opportunity for us to look at, but I think, obviously polling our partners and seeing that, but I think that would definitely be something that would be beneficial to the industry and for our also hopefully some of them might take a couple more EE classes to get that power knowledge. So that I think that could be a benefit as well. So I think it's a good idea. And most of the companies I talk to are looking for computer scientists that are interested, and I think it's a good way to get people to think, oh, power engineering is not just for EEs.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Noel. And since you mentioned Greg and ACL, I will go to Greg next. Greg, is ACL thinking of hosting practicum students? And yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, no, thank you for including me in the meeting and the discussion. I mean, I think SEL's perspective is maybe, I don't know, unique with respect to software developers because, certainly in my team, I hire plenty of interns from WSU that are software developers. And if they have as I listened to this conversation, I was thinking if they had some power background, would that make a difference on the hiring or the skill set? Maybe. I definitely think exposing them to power engineering could get them enthusiastic about joining our industry and not going to work for Microsoft or Facebook. Nothing against those companies, but so I think that's one advantage and I'm guessing you might be getting applicants that are interested in this just because they see in the news all these challenges we have with energy.
Yeah.
And I notice a lot of young people say, hey, I want to be involved. I want to help solve these problems. So I think just letting them see firsthand what it's about, and then the chance that they will apply at SEL or GE or Siemens or ABB or, all these companies that are in this area, I think we could certainly use them. And just one additional comment I'll make, and I think probably there's many from utilities on this call that probably know more about this than I do, but I interact with a lot of utilities worldwide that have software development teams working on in-house development projects. I mean, I can think of many just off the top of my head. So if there was a opportunity for computer science to be involved in a practicum, maybe there's utilities that would say, oh, we actually have a group that's working on our GIS mapping system or working on tools for our outage management system or with our EMS, whatever, that maybe they could participate in that way. So that was a thought I had.
Yeah, thank you very much, Greg. We hope that ACL will be hosting some of our students in the coming years. And we look forward to celebrating the 50th year with ACL, who is one of our success stories that we are very proud of. Thank you very much, Greg, for all the support from ACL to WSU and for the region. And Christina, you had a comment, and then I see you took back the, so I'm not sure, but please go ahead.
Well, I actually just did a quick search. I was wondering if computer science was accredited, and so it looks like it is, because that would be, I don't know, it's a little tricky because Avista hires engineers that are having an accredited program, and then to advance through our engineering, it would require a PE. And so I think there's roles for computer science in the utility, but maybe not in some of the traditional fields where Avista participates in the practicum. And so it would have to, I feel like, kind of be modified for those careers where computer science would play a role in the utility. They wouldn't necessarily go into transmission engineering or protection or substation. So not to say it can't be modified, but I just see it maybe needing to set those students up to be successful.
Yeah, I would say that the whole practicum program is based on this notion of community workforce building, and that what you are helping out is that you are recruiting these students hopefully into the broader power industry. And this could involve going to potentially other companies which may have software teams like what Greg was talking about, or to like a software development industry such as GE or Siemens. And so I think including computer science students in general is a good idea, because and just exposing them to concepts in power, even to know about what are the different components like transmission, generation, distribution. Computer scientists may not have any notion unless they go to a program like this practicum. So I think they get that broad exposure, which is really beneficial. This is just my personal opinion.
And I think that could be good for their awareness. It might just be an awkward conversation after the practicum when we say that they're not qualified to apply for our position.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean. Yeah. So
Thinking
if they
about
become
our own
interested,
recruitment.
yeah, I see.
Yeah.
So maybe that's something that we should think through as well. So for those students who get motivated to come into power industry, what are the avenues that we can encourage them to explore? Yeah, that's a very good point, Christina. Because we don't want to leave them disappointed that this was like a bait, like a,
yes, exactly.
there was nothing to follow up on. Yeah, that's a very good point. And so we need to think that through with maybe companies like GE and ACL, and provide those opportunities, as well as maybe Jay mentioned that I don't know whether it was before or after you joined, that PGE is also looking for some data scientists and data analysts to work on some of the newer applications. So there are positions in power industry that would directly fit the computer science students as well.
Yeah. And I don't disagree with that. It's just not part of our maybe our typical practicum schedule, right? It would have to be modified to make it worthwhile for them.
So perhaps we can figure out how this goes. This is Linda, but so perhaps we could, send out when we solicit information from different industry partners to see how they wish to participate in a given year. That could be a question that we include. Is this a good fit for you? Or are you interested? Not so much. Which kinds of students might you be interested in? These are the ones we're able to coordinate at this time. Are you interested in having students, or do you want to strictly stay with the EE? And that could be a kind of an individualized approach.
Yeah, I agree. That's the way to go. And Anil, please go ahead.
Manny, with about 100 students in the program, I was thinking they typically spend at least 4 years. That means 3 practicums and probably 3 summer quarters. If there's a coordinated program, I think it gives utilities also like almost 6 to 9 months of time with the students. Utilities or even companies like us, 6 to 9 months of time. I think if we start early, probably it's a nice way to get them trained. And when they come back after their graduation, they're almost industry ready.
Yeah, in fact, I'm not trying to boast or anything. This was an actual comment I heard from one of our industry members that in comparison to other, or in comparison to graduates from other colleges, the comment was the WSU students come better prepared, and that it's like they can hit the ground running. And that, I was so happy to hear, because that's exactly our intention in having programs like the practicum. And that is the benefit of working with all of you in providing these partnerships, in providing the internship opportunities. So you are absolutely right, Adil. This is what we have as a vision for the future, that we want to provide this opportunity from hopefully the freshman year, the students get interested, and that by the time they graduate, they really have a lot of exposure and experience in working in a utility environment. And so we hope what you suggest will become our blueprint for our graduates in the future. So thank you very much. Any other comments on practicum?
I had something else, Manny.
Yeah, please go ahead.
So we hosted the students for the practicum shortly after our student our student engineering recruitment had ended, and we were interviewing for positions. And I was surprised that out of the 4 students, none of them were aware of our position. And so it seems like we could probably do better as a company at getting those positions out. I'm not sure if it fell through the crack this year, but
this is Linda. I didn't receive anything
for
about
the student program.
Right.
Okay, I'll touch base with our HR department. But that was a huge loss. Just to be like, oh man, you'll have to either wait next year or some of them won't qualify. And then the one other thing was, well, it was on the tip of my tongue and then I lost it. You mentioned the universities, other universities participating. And so on our final day that we do the student presentation, I invite all the engineers and the managers and the directors for those that helped make it possible to listen to the final presentation. And the students did a really great job. And I got asked afterwards why I only do this program for WSU, and everybody knowing that I'm alumni. And I kind of made a joke about like, well, that's why wouldn't I do it just for WSU? But I explained to all of them that it wasn't my choice, that the university coordinates it and they reach out and they figure out everything to do with the students. And then I handle Avista's side. But it was interesting how many of them, I think maybe for the last couple of years, have thought that I just reached out to WSU to do this program. And I thought, oh no, this would be great if other universities did it as well. The more people that know about the power industry, the better. It does take effort though. And so we can't do it ourselves as a company. We have to partner with the university.
Yeah, I think you hit it right on the head on this topic, Christina. I agree that we have a role to play in providing the students to the industry. And so in terms of long-term planning, we would very much like to see this program go beyond just WSU to other regional universities, and maybe even as a national blueprint for how to grow the power programs in other universities. But then it mainly comes down to resources. And in what we do in terms of coordination. And I don't want to underestimate, or I do want to mention that there is a lot of work that goes in the background, that the work that Linda and Javier do in coordinating with all the host companies, in making sure that the students have their travel programs lined up, in reserving hotel rooms for the students. Because one of the unique aspects of this program is that the PEP membership provides the funding, the travel support for students who need them. And Linda and Janine and the ESIC staff coordinate all of that in the background to make sure that things go on smoothly. And so that is our top concern as well, our top priority as well, that we want to make sure that the program is implemented, in a proper way as we think of scaling it. So we do want to entertain those hopes and plans in long term. But I was mentioning in the beginning that we want to do it in baby steps. And so our plan is next to maybe grow it to our Vancouver campus and Tri-Cities campus and encourage some of those students to go on the practicum program, and also maybe to explore opportunities for computer science students and computer engineering students. And then, depending on how how many students we can place in our industry partners, and hopefully we will be able to find more host companies as well, so that we can grow the program in the future. And so that's really our vision for this program as we plan for it together with all of you. And some of this we will also discuss in the September meeting, September 15th meeting. We will be discussing the role of WSU in the next 50 years. So that would be an exciting conversation. Please go ahead, Anil.
And I just wanted to say the logistics played a very important role. I was expecting the students will take the ferry and come to our campus in Kirkland, but I'm glad that WSU is going the extra mile to make those arrangements. That really worked out well for them and for us.
Yeah, thank you, Anil. And I know that in your case, you had decided late to join the program, and I was amazed that you were able to really make this happen in such short notice. And in the future, we would very much like to connect you with other companies to make this go even smoother in the future.
Yeah,
thank you very much. Are there any other comments from anyone on practicum as we are nearing the end of this time slot? Okay, thank you very much. And next we have feedback and updates from faculty on our curriculum. And I know, Shamish, you had a question about our curriculum earlier. So hopefully we will answer some of the questions in this session. So Linda, who goes first? Do you have a?
No, I don't have
so maybe
that.
We'll just go by the numbering of courses. So we'll start with 361. And who is representing 361?
Actually, I don't see Saeed here. And I did not know that he did not. Yeah.
So maybe Javier and Anamika, since you also teach 361, you can go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I taught 361 actually last year in the spring semester. We had about 14 students in that course. In that case, it was a particular arrangement between Bremerton and Pullman students. In general, the performance of students was very good. As we discussed in previous meetings, along with the faculty, we made some modifications to the course, basically to make it more friendly for the students in terms of content, because it's a course that has basically the fundamentals of power engineering. It includes some chapters in machines. It includes also a chapter in transmission lines. And it's also at the same time supposed to be an introduction to power flow analysis. So yeah, we introduced those changes. I know in average, Chushen is teaching that course also. And I think Anamika is teaching it this year, right?
Yeah, thank you, Javier. Anamika, do you want to talk about your 361 class?
Yeah, sure. So I taught it I taught it last fall, and as I said, as Javier said, it covers the fundamentals of power systems. And we start with basically a description of what are the components in the power system, and the main fundamental is to really introduce the modeling aspect of the power systems components as well as the system itself to the students. So we start with looking into transformers. How do we model transformers? What are the basic principles towards developing a mathematical model? From how do we move from physics understanding to electrical model? And then we go on to machines. We talk about synchronous generators, we talk about synchronous motors. From there on, during transformer, before that we introduce three-phase analysis. We talk about phasors. We talk then we start talking about per unit calculations after transformers have been discussed. And once we have talked about machines and motors, we look into a power systems model, a network itself, and we also introduce transmission lines and connect it all together as a power system, and introduce Y-bus matrix development for the students. And that is kind of precursor to power flow analysis that we discuss in 491. So overall, the performance of the class was good. There was so one thing that we tried to do this time was to introduce some broader context to a student as well, that how what is really changing at the power systems level with the renewable integration. How does those machine change some of the things that we understand from the fundamentals, from synchronous machine, how things are moving towards the power electronics based resources. We very briefly touch on those subjects as well, and it kind of introduce what are different topics that are more advanced, that require this fundamental knowledge that students can take as electives as well.
Yeah, thank you, Anamika. And we also had Professor Saeed Lotfifar teaching it this semester, and it seems like he has a conflict and he's not able to provide his comments. And any questions on 361, what we cover, or the syllabus and the topics? And one of the challenges we have in this course is this is the only required course for all of EE students that teaches power systems. So we cover a lot of topics in this class, all the way from three-phase analysis, from transformers to power flow analysis, including the theory of machines and motors. And so it's been a challenge to compile so much material in one class. And we typically hear feedback from the students that there is a lot of material. And so we have made an effort to maybe leave out some topics and make it more focused on the topics that we do cover in the course. So we would very much like to hear from you on what among these topics would be really key that you would like us to make sure that we offer them in 361. So that would be very useful in hearing from you. And next, we have the lab course 362, which is the machines lab, and we call it as the electromechanical energy conversion lab. And we have a machines lab in all three campuses that are directly part of our program. We have a machines lab in Everett, one in Bremerton, and also one at WSU. And since Professor Saeed, who teaches the class in Pullman, is not here, maybe again, Javier, you can talk about the machines course in Bremerton.
Sure. Yeah. The machines course, I mean, it's basically a hands-on experience with, first of all, three-phase circuits. So everything that you learn in 361, they apply here, hands-on. Three-phase circuits, synchronous generators, synchronous motors, induction motors, also induction generators, which is a topic that is not covered in 361, but we cover it in 362. DC motors, transformers. We emphasize a lot the three-phase connections of transformers. And yeah, that's pretty much the content. The idea is mostly to offer students a hands-on experience. The equipment we have in Bremerton in particular is made by Festo, is supported by Festo, which used to be a lab bolt. It's top-notch material, and it's the same case for Everett as well. Those machines, those modules were bought together. I think in Pullman you have Lucas Noel equipment, which actually is more sophisticated than this one, but still it does the job. And yeah, students in general, right now, for example, have students working in the lab, and they enjoy the lab. It's one of the experiences that they, just like the practicum, you can see them like having a lot of fun in general.
Yeah, thank you very much, Javier. One of the items on our wish list is to set up the protection lab in Bremerton and Everett, and also to bring back the renewable energy lab for all three campuses. And that's something, if you have any possibility of sponsoring one of those labs, we would very much like to explore that with you, and we would very much appreciate your support. And next, maybe I will go next. On the senior courses, we have several electives that we offer for our students. They cover transmission, distribution, protection, and all of the essential topics and renewable energy. And I teach the transmission systems course, which is the performance of power systems. We cover topics ranging from power flow, economic dispatch, and also some introduction to the dynamic modeling, the equilibrium criterion, transient stability, small signal analysis, and then frequency control, AGC. So all of this is covered in the course on transmission. This time I had about, I think, 15 or 16 students, which was a smaller number compared to previous years. And this is still the after effect of the pandemic. Like I said, the number is now becoming larger in our freshman and sophomore class, that we are very happy to see. And that will lead to more students coming into the senior courses, maybe a year or two from now. And the course was offered to all three campuses. In fact, I visited the Bremerton campus and Everett campus also a couple of times. And at the senior level, the interest from the students was really nice to see. They asked excellent questions. And in fact, all of them, I think, graduated into either a graduate program in power industry, in the power program, or all of them went to power industry. So that's something that we are very excited to see. And that's all I have for the 491 class. And if you have any questions about the performance of power systems, then I would very much like to hear from you. Noel, do you have a comment? Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, Manny, well, I just wanted to bring a comment about senior design. And I was just thinking, we had a project with Sonomish PUD, where we worked with them on, and that was in 22, so the spring and fall of last year, where we worked, the students did a feasibility study for a microgrid for Tulalip tribe. And I guess I just wanted to throw it out there, if there were other opportunities that companies wanted to get involved in senior design. That's not one of the direct classes we teach, but I just think that was a great experience for the students to really get to work with Sonomish PUD, get to work with a customer, learn about microgrids. They did Homer, and they also did MATLAB, Simulink activities. So it really was a really great hands-on experience. And the other great thing that we had industry partners in that, and you get to basically work with the students for a year. So it's not quite like an internship, but it is a chance for you to get to know those students and for them to get to know you. So I just wanted to throw it, and I know several Greg has worked with our senior design folks in the past, and others may have too, but just wanted to throw that out there as a class that is also important.
Yeah, excellent point, Noel. In fact, we completely missed talking about senior design. I'm glad you brought it up in the meeting. And we should thank Avista, who has sponsored so many of our senior design projects over the years. And I completely agree with you. We very much would like to see you work with our students for senior design projects. That's an excellent way of engaging them in power industry, and also a potential recruitment tool for them to know more about the company and your needs. And in fact, you can get some work done from these students that they can help solve one of the problems that you would like to work on. So I'm glad you mentioned it. In fact, we used to have slides on the ongoing senior design projects or the recent senior design project, which with all the excitement about the 50th year and the practicum this year, we missed it. And so I'm glad you remembered and you brought it up, Noel. Thank you so much. And I think next, Anamika, do you want to talk about the distribution class?
Sure. So, hi everyone. So I teach EE 485. That's a power systems, energy distribution systems class that talks about basically the modeling at the power distribution level, modeling as well as the analysis at the power distribution level. So we start with emphasizing the fact on three-phase modeling and unbalanced modeling at the distribution system. We talk about fundamentals of how load behavior is at the distribution level, and from there on we go into transformer modeling, and they would discuss full three-phase models for different types of transformer connections, including open delta and open Y connections. And that is basically one of the first few introductions to student on the three-phase analysis that is needed at the distribution level. Then we talk about distribution line modeling, impedance matrix and admittance matrix calculation, and then we connect all of these topics together into a power flow analysis and talk about forward backward sweep algorithm for power flow. And then I briefly introduce other algorithms that are there used in the distribution power flow analysis. And from there on, we pivot a little bit towards the operation side of the problem and talk about capacitor banks, a step voltage regulator, and I introduce distributed energy resources as well, and what's changing at the distribution level, and how these devices are modeled, how they are integrated in the power flow study, and how they are coordinated and controlled for different kinds of simpler operational scenarios. And that pretty much covers the course. And we briefly also introduce at least a couple of classes on power systems distribution system protection. That's one of the crucial areas, but we don't emphasize a lot on fault analysis and protection, specifically because we do have other courses, other senior level courses looking into protection specifically. We do have a course project in this class. The students have, of course, multiple homework assignments where they numerically analyze and solve different problems, but there's a course project as well that deals with the modeling exercise for a small 15-20 bus distribution system. They develop a power systems model for this distribution systems in windmill software, and they do different kinds of power flow analysis on this system. They do a load growth analysis as well to look into what kind of planning issues the utility may run into if in this particular distribution system. And they also propose operational solutions by installing capacitor bank or step voltage regulator to mitigate those challenges. And they talk about what are the trade-offs between different types of approaches that can be used for solving this problem in future. And they prepare a report for this particular project, which takes like 10% of their grade. The course has two exams. One is a midterm and a final exam. And the exams are centered around numerical analysis of the unbalanced system.
Thank you very much, Anamika. These two courses, 491, which is more focused on the transmission systems, and 485, which is on the distribution systems, those we consider as the two principal courses on the fundamentals of power systems. And then we have the other topics such as the power electronics, and then the protection,
Just
Yeah,
one more
go
point,
ahead.
Mani. So
Yeah,
the
yeah.
course is also, I forgot to mention, the course is offered to all 3 campuses as well, and we teach it on Zoom. And currently this year this course has total 22 students and kind of equal split between WSU Pullman and Bremerton, Everett campus.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, thank you, Anamika. So it seems like the number is improving from, I had about, I think 18 students in fall. So that's good to see that we are having more students. It used to be something like 35 a few years back, but that was before the pandemic. And we are still adjusting to life post-pandemic. Yeah, thank you. And I forgot, you are teaching 361, 362 this semester. So you can please talk about the protection class here in Pullman. I'm sorry, not the protection, the lab course here in Pullman.
Yeah, thanks, Mani. Yeah, I think so. We started with the what here said, like we are starting with the 3-phase circuits and then basic elements of the power system, and then compensating the power factor. How do we really make these compensators to bring back to the unity power factor? That's the basic we start with, and later they go on for the single phase transformer, auto transformer, how the characteristics works, and then open circuit testing and short circuit testing of those transformers and how do they load it and how the overloading. And then the 3-phase will move on to the 3-phase configuration of the systems. That means like basic connections, Y or star, and then the delta side, how do we connect it, what is the imbalances and how the imbalance comes in. So those are the experiments focused on it. And then other than this one, so the open circuit characteristics or the short circuit characteristics of the 3-phase transformers, even we go further in the step like experimenting on the open delta connection. So how the open delta is generally operated and just using the 2 phases. So that is also been like they're really enjoying these sessions because they're visualizing it. And this is the, like Harry mentioned, so here in Pullman, it is kind of sophisticated lab. So they could easily see the real changes and the softwares they have, and they're connecting the actual physical components in it, and everything is mounted on one of the workstation, so they can do and play like it is playable, everything like configurable. There is no there is no safety concern at all because it's a low power module, but still you could able to replicate the larger system characteristics. Then we'll go further into the machines, the synchronous generator, synchronous motor, then the induction motor, DC machines. I mean, DC machine is not really, we are covering it completely because this is overwhelming for the students because we are covering a lot of experiments in single semester. So, but they will have like hands-on like a simple testing on the DC machines, especially the DC motors or separately excited motors or the DC shunt motor generally used. So, and the synchronous generators, so what they do is basically like a loading testing as well as the mechanical loading comes from the synchronous motor side. And we again go for the last of the experimentation is basically a 3-phase synchronization. So how do they really synchronize the synchronous generator if that is produced by the prime mover? When we mimic the prime mover characteristics from the servo motor is in the lab. So, and then they will synchronize with respect to the voltages, angle, and then they will see it. Okay, what are the isolators should be connected before you actually connect it to the 3-phase mains, because they're literally connected to the actual 3-phase mains. They will look at it, the voltages match, phase sequence, and then they're also looking at the frequency match with through a synchroscoper, and then they adjust the prime mover speeds. So I think they could able to visualize complete characteristics of the fundamentals related to the power system. So I think they enjoyed a lot. I mean, hopefully, like we're trying our best to incorporate like a lot of other changes too, but as of now, we are covering the basic fundamental experiments. Yeah, thanks, Mani.
Yeah. Thank you so much for teaching the class for us this semester, Sanjeev. And next, 492, it's back to you, Javi, on the renewable energy class. Yeah.
Yeah, this and I taught this one in fall. We had 16 students. As we mentioned before, yeah, the populations for this course in the past, there used to be like a lot of 30, 35 students. It's a course that students like a lot because is the first exposure they have to generation in general. So I started a course basically covering methods of conventional generation, any sort of thermal-based generation, hydropower. By the way, in the last edition of the course, we had the opportunity to go to Wanapum Dam with Grand PUD, which, by the way, I take the opportunity to thank you guys for giving us that opportunity. The trip was fully funded by them. And yeah, students like a lot visiting this facility. And they took us all the way down to the dam. So yeah, they like it a lot. And then the course focuses mostly on photovoltaic generation and wind generation. We go in detail when it comes to the operation and design of this type of plants. We take it a little bit further because here in WSU, we have wanted to make it more of an electrical engineering based course. So we take it to simulation, both of photovoltaic farms and wind farms as well. At the end of the course, I offer the students the opportunity to do a little bit of research on different types of renewable energy generation, such as fuel cells. Also, they make a presentation about electric vehicles. And yeah, that's pretty much the content of the course. In general, students like the course. It's very heavy in content, but they appreciate a lot the intersectionality with, for example, mechanical engineers, civil engineer work. And that's something that we emphasize in the course as well.
Thank you, Javier. Any feedback on the courses, on the curriculum, what you would like to see covered in our classes, or if you notice something that we are missing, please let us know. And you can send us an email later as well. Yeah, I know we are. Oh, 492. 492 has been forever, Christina. So this used to be taught by 492 is our power system protection. Oh, 492 is our renewable energy class. Oh, I stand corrected. 492 probably 10 years ago. That was part of a donation from Puget Sound and Energy to set up a renewable energy lab here at WSU. And we started the lecture course, and it had 1 credit of lab component at the time. So the students would take 2 hours of lectures and then 1 hour in the lab to get some hands-on experience with wind setup and also some PV cells and the concept of solar energy. And this was probably, I would think, 2012, 2013. And so we have been offering the course. First, we had it as a course that was open to all of engineering students. But then we realized since the students didn't have a circuit prerequisite, we couldn't really do much of real engineering in the class. So we later changed it to a EE course, and we formulated it as 492. And that's what Javier has been teaching for us the past few years.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
What a great addition that I didn't have the opportunity to take. So when you said it's been there forever, okay. I was like, how did I miss that? No way.
I was thinking of 493, which we have been offering forever.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad to see that added.
Yes, yes. And also more recently, we added the power electronics class, which I think we didn't have it back then. And
I don't think so either.
Unfortunately, we lost the faculty who was teaching it. And so he, Professor Ahmed, who was teaching it here, he was clinical faculty, teaching emphasis faculty. And he decided to because of family reasons, he moved to Washington, D.C. And so we are recruiting a new faculty in power electronics, hopefully by fall, and we will be restarting the power electronics course. And we have plans to set up a power electronics lab also for our undergraduate students, because now there is more and more IBRs and inverter-based resources in the industry. So we feel that the students need to have some hands-on experience with the inverter power electronics controls as well. So again, we have lots of plans. It's very exciting. So we can talk more about this future plans with all of you in September. That's something we are very much looking forward to. Any final thoughts or comments about the undergraduate program here at WSU?
I actually do have something.
Yes.
I've heard rumor that maybe considering adding the fundamental engineering exam as a requirement for electrical engineering students. Not a requirement to pass it, but just a requirement to take it. And I think that would be a great addition to set students up for success. I know mechanical engineers and maybe even chemical engineers at WSU have been required to take it for as long as I can remember, and thought it was odd that electrical was not, but we're seeing some of the consequences of that in the utility industry, as we require electrical engineers to, we require electrical, mechanical, and civil to all have their PE to progress throughout their career. And so it would be nice to have them already having their FE, or at least be attempting it.
Yeah, that's a good feedback. I will take to our curriculum committee, and we will certainly discuss it. I think this topic came up one time, but to be honest, I don't remember what was decided. So, but I can just tell you that it is under discussion. And so we will see. I think our immediate focus is on improving the numbers in the WE program to have more students going through the program. And we will introduce additional requirements, or at least we should tell them about the benefits of having the certification and what, how that improves their chances of successful career in power industry. So yes, definitely, I happen to represent the power program in the curriculum committee. So I would be very happy to take that feedback back to the committee, and I will maybe follow up with you offline, Christina.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Any other comments? Okay, we are right at 5 o'clock. And thank you all very much for joining us today. And we are looking forward to seeing all of you here in Pullman in September. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.